10 clone fragrances that match $150 to $400. Originals for under $50. Tested on chemistry, not marketing. 5 that fall apart within an hour and aren't worth $1. Exactly what to buy, what to avoid, and why the price gap exists. Worth buying. Number 10. Zara Vibrant Leather, $30. Zara Vibrant Leather retails at approximately $30 for 100 milliliters. The fragrance it most closely references is Dior Homme Intense, which retails at $180 for 100 milliliters. Dior Homme Intense uses iris, leather accord, and ambroxan as its primary construction, producing a powdery, slightly sweet leather dry down that is one of the most distinctive aromatic profiles in the designer tier. Zara Vibrant Leather replicates the iris leather amber structure with enough accuracy that independent fragrance reviewers across multiple platforms, including Fragrantica's blind comparison threads and YouTube side-by-side testing, consistently document the similarity as above average for a clone at this price. The top notes diverge slightly, with vibrant leather opening with less of the sharp aldehydic quality that defines Dior Homme Intense's first 10 minutes. The heart and dry down close the gap significantly, with the leather accord and ambroxan base performing within detectable range of the original. Longevity testing on vibrant leather documents 4 to 5 hours of detectable skin presence at moderate projection compared to 6 to 8 hours for Dior Homme Intense EDP. That 2-hour longevity gap is the primary construction difference between the two and reflects the lower concentration of ambroxan in the Zara formula. At $30 versus $180 for 6/10 of the longevity performance of the original, the value calculation is straightforward. Sillage, the projection trail left as you move, is moderate on vibrant leather compared to the original's strong projection. For men who find Dior Homme Intense's projection too aggressive in confined professional spaces, the lower sillage of the clone is an incidental advantage rather than a limitation. Worth buying. Number 9. Armaf Club de Nuit Intense Man, $40. Armaf Club de Nuit Intense Man retails at approximately $40 for 105 milliliters. The fragrance it references is Creed Aventus, which retails at $435 for 100 milliliters. Creed Aventus uses a distinctive birch smoke, pineapple, ambergris, and musk construction that has made it one of the most discussed and most cloned fragrances in the men's category since its 2010 introduction. Club de Nuit Intense Man is consistently ranked by independent fragrance communities as the closest affordable approximation of the Aventus profile. The pineapple and blackcurrant top notes open with enough similarity to the original that side-by-side comparisons at opening frequently produce genuine uncertainty among experienced fragrance wearers. The birch smoke note in the heart, which is the most distinctive element of the Aventus profile, appears in Club de Nuit Intense Man with slightly less depth and complexity than in the original, but with enough presence to place the two fragrances clearly in the same aromatic territory. The dry down diverges more than the heart. Creed Aventus uses a proprietary ambergris accord in its base that Club de Nuit Intense Man approximates with a more synthetic musk and woody amber combination. The difference is perceptible to experienced noses and irrelevant to most people who will smell you wearing it in daily contexts. Longevity on Club de Nuit Intense. Man runs 6 to 8 hours in independent testing, competitive with the original and exceeding what many buyers report from recent Aventus batches, which have shown longevity variation across production runs. At $40 for a fragrance that delivers the Aventus profile at 9% of the original's retail price, Club de Nuit Intense Man is the most commercially successful clone fragrance in the men's category for documented reason. Worth buying. Number 8. Al Haramain L'Aventure, $35. Al Haramain L'Aventure retails at approximately $35 for 100 milliliters. This is another Aventus territory fragrance, but with a different aromatic approach than Club de Nuit Intense Man, where Club de Nuit focuses on the smoke and pineapple aspects of the Aventus profile. L'Aventure emphasizes the fresher, brighter aspects with a stronger citrus and apple opening and a lighter smoke presence. The distinction matters because different production batches of Creed Aventus have emphasized different elements of the fragrance's profile over the 13 years since its introduction. Earlier batches were smokier and darker. More recent batches have moved toward a fresher, fruitier profile. L'Aventure aligns more closely with the current Aventus production direction than with the vintage batches that established the fragrance's reputation. The base of L'Aventure uses patchouli and musks with a cedar foundation that projects for 5 to 7 hours in testing. The projection in the first 2 hours is strong, softening to a moderate skin scent through the dry down. For men in professional environments where strong projection would be inappropriate, L'Aventure's arc from a more projecting opening to a quieter dry down is a practical advantage. Al Haramain is a UAE-based fragrance house with over 50 years of commercial production, which means the quality control and production consistency behind L'Aventure is significantly better documented than the smaller independent clone producers at similar price points. Worth buying. Number 7. Latafa Ragba, $18. Latafa Ragba retails at approximately $18 for 100 milliliters, the lowest price point on the worth buying side of this list. The fragrance it most closely references is Tom Ford Tobacco Vanille, which retails at $340 for 50 milliliters, making it one of the most expensive originals referenced in the clone category. Tom Ford Tobacco Vanille uses a tobacco, vanilla, tonka bean, and woody spice construction to produce a warm, sweet, and incredibly long-lasting oriental that has been one of the most requested fragrances in the men's category since its private blend introduction. The price per milliliter is among the highest in the designer tier. Ragba captures the tobacco vanilla accord with accuracy that is remarkable at $18. The opening is slightly sweeter than the Tom Ford original, leaning more heavily into the vanilla element in the first hour. The tobacco note develops in the heart with genuine depth, followed by a woody musk dry down that performs 7 to 10 hours in longevity testing, competitive with, and in some tests, exceeding the Tom Ford original's documented longevity. The projection is strong and the sillage is significant, which is appropriate for the Oriental category, but requires application restraint in confined spaces, 1 to 2 sprays maximum for any indoor context. The sweet density of the Oriental Accord amplifies significantly in warm conditions, making Ragba most appropriate for cool weather evening contexts where the temperature allows the composition to develop at its correct rate. At $18 for 100 milliliters, delivering a credible approximation of a $680 experience, Ragba is the highest value per dollar entry on this list by a significant margin. Worth buying. Number 6. Dube Fragrances, the Italian, $45. Dube Fragrances operates a direct-to-consumer model, producing fragrance inspired by designer originals at prices between $35 and $75 for 30 milliliters. The Italian references Acqua di Parma Colonia, a heritage Italian cologne built on citrus, lavender, and woody musky base notes that has been in continuous production since 1916. Acqua di Parma Colonia retails at $195 for 100 milliliters. Dua's interpretation at $45 for 30 milliliters is a higher price per milliliter than most entries on this list, but lower in absolute cost and higher in aromatic quality than most alternatives at equivalent total price. The citrus opening on the Italian uses bergamot, lemon, and orange in a bright, clean construction that opens almost identically to the original in blind testing within the first 30 minutes. The lavender heart develops with the same relaxed, classic, masculine character that made Colonia a reference point in Italian heritage fragrance for over a century. The base note diverges slightly, with Dua's interpretation using a more synthetic woody musk, where Acqua di Parma uses a more complex vetiver and cedarwood combination. Longevity on the Italian runs 3 to 4 hours, shorter than the original at 5 to 6 hours, reflecting the EDT concentration level of the formula. The projection is appropriate for professional and casual contexts without requiring application restraint in confined spaces. For men who find Acqua di Parma Colonia's pricing prohibitive for regular daily use, the Italian provides the same aromatic character at accessible cost. Worth buying. Number 5. Parfum de Marly. Herod Alternative. Fragrance World. Baroque Rouge. $28. Fragrance World's Baroque Rouge retails at approximately $28 for 100 milliliters. The fragrance it references is Parfums de Marly Herod, which retails at $295 for 125 milliliters. Herod uses tobacco, vanilla, patchouli, and pepper in a construction that produces one of the most distinctive oriental profiles in the premium independent fragrance tier. Baroque Rouge opens with a pepper and spice note that is slightly sharper than the original's smoother spice transition, but closes within detectable range of the original by the 45-minute mark. The tobacco note in the heart is the most accurate aspect of the clone, producing a genuine tobacco depth that many more expensive Herod alternatives fail to capture with this precision. The vanilla and patchouli base runs 8 to 10 hours in longevity testing, competitive with the original. For men who have sampled Parfum de Marly Herod and found it the correct aromatic profile for their chemistry, but cannot justify $295 for regular use, Baroque Rouge is the most functional alternative available at the 10% price point. Worth buying. Number 4. Sauvage Clone. Aldi La Cura Noir. $7. This is the most counterintuitive entry on this list. Aldi's La Cura Noir retails at approximately $7 for 50 milliliters and has been independently documented across fragrance communities as a credible approximation of Dior Sauvage EDT, the most commercially successful men's fragrance currently available at $120 for 100 milliliters. Dior Sauvage's aromatic profile is built on ambroxan, elemi spice, and a clean synthetic musk that produces its distinctive fresh spicy character. La Cura Noir uses a similar synthetic compound structure that opens in recognizably the same territory as Sauvage EDT, with a slightly lighter and less refined top note progression that closes to a comparable dry down within the first hour. Longevity is the primary limitation. La Cura Noir runs 2 to 3 hours in testing compared to Sauvage EDT's 5 to 7 hours. The projection is softer. The aromatic complexity in the heart is less developed. As an office or gym fragrance where Sauvage projection would be excessive, the lower projection is not a limitation. As a full-day fragrance, La Cura Noir requires reapplication that the Dior original does not. At $7 for a credible 2 to 3 hour approximation of a $120 fragrance, the value calculation for occasional or context-specific use is essentially unarguable. Worth buying. Number 3. Maison Alhambra Minerale. $35. Maison Alhambra Mineral retails at approximately $35 for 100 milliliters. The fragrance it references is Mugler Alien Man, which retails at $135 for 100 milliliters. Alien Man uses a distinctive sandalwood, amber, and woody musk construction with a synthetic accord that gives it an otherworldly quality that is immediately distinctive from standard woody fragrances. Mineral replicates the sandalwood and amber core with above-average accuracy, producing the warm, woody sweet character of the original without the slightly plastic top note quality that some reviewers document in Alien Man's opening. The synthetic wood accord in Mineral's base runs 8 to 10 hours in longevity testing, competitive with the original. For men whose chemistry amplifies the synthetic aspects of alien man to an uncomfortable degree, Mineral's slightly softer interpretation of the same aromatic space may actually perform better on skin while costing 74% less. Worth buying. Number 2. Yves Rocher, Comme une évidence, Homme, $25. Yves Rocher operates across the affordable fragrance market with a direct-to-consumer model that produces original compositions rather than direct clones, but Comme une évidence Homme occupies the same aromatic territory as Guerlain l'Homme Idéal at $115 for 100 milliliters, closely enough to be functionally compared. Both fragrances use an almond tonka fougere structure that creates a sweet, sophisticated aromatic profile appropriate for evening and date contexts. Comme une évidence, Homme opens with a slightly crisper citrus introduction before the almond and tonka accord develops, producing an aromatic profile that is one of the most universally appealing in the moderate sweet masculine category. Longevity runs 4 to 6 hours in testing. Projection is moderate, at $25 for a fragrance that receives consistently positive unsolicited responses in wear testing from people unfamiliar with the reference point. Comme une évidence Homme delivers genuine aromatic quality, independent of its comparison to the original. Worth buying. Number 1. Afnan, 9 p.m., $30. First place goes to Afnan 9 p.m., retailing at approximately $30 for 100 milliliters. The fragrance it references is Yves Saint Laurent La Nuit de l'Homme, which retails at $100 for 100 milliliters and is one of the most universally recommended evening fragrances in the designer tier. La Nuit de l'Homme uses cardamom, cedar, and Virginia cedar in a construction that produces a sophisticated, slightly spicy, warm, masculine profile that works across formal and casual evening contexts with exceptional versatility. The aromatic profile is distinctive enough to be recognizable and accessible enough to receive positive responses across a broad range of people. Afnan 9 p.m. replicates this structure with the highest overall accuracy of any clone on this list in independent blind testing. The cardamom opening is accurate. The cedar heart develops with the same quiet confidence as the original. The woody musk base runs 6 to 8 hours in longevity testing, exceeding the original's documented 5 to 6 hour average in some tests. At $30 for 100 milliliters versus $100 for the same volume of the original, 9 p.m. delivers the reference fragrance's aromatic profile at 30% of the retail price, with competitive or superior longevity. It is the most complete clone value on this list across the combined metrics of aromatic accuracy, longevity performance, and price differential from the original. Avoid. Number 5. Generic Amazon, Sauvage clones under $10. Any Sauvage clone retailing below $10 for 50 milliliters or more on Amazon under unrecognized brand names warrants avoidance. The aromatic compound quality at this price tier is insufficient to replicate the ambroxan core of Sauvage, with enough accuracy or longevity to justify the purchase over the Aldi alternative at $7 from a controlled retail source. Consumer Reports documents synthetic, headache-inducing top notes, 0 base note development, and 1 hour maximum longevity at this price tier. Avoid. Number 4. Paris Corner, Gentleman Clone. Paris Corner's approximation of Givenchy Gentleman retails at $22. The iris and patchouli accord that defines Givenchy Gentleman is one of the most technically demanding to replicate because high-quality iris absolute is one of the most expensive fragrance ingredients per kilogram. Budget alternatives substitute synthetic iris compounds that produce an artificial, plasticky quality that diverges significantly from the original within the first 30 minutes and does not recover through the dry down, Consumer longevity reports average 90 minutes. Avoid. Number 3. Dama Fragrances Oud Clones. Several Dama Fragrances Oud-based clones targeting Maison Francis Kurkdjian, Baccarat Rouge, 540 territory at $25 to $35, use a saffron oud combination that opens with reasonable similarity to the original before the dry down reveals a sharp synthetic quality uncharacteristic of the ambergris cedar base of the reference fragrance. The longevity is adequate at 4 to 5 hours, but the aromatic character in the base differs enough from the reference point to make the comparison misleading rather than useful. Avoid. Number 2. Fragrance One Office for Him. Fragrance One's Office for Him is marketed directly as a safe, office-appropriate Sauvage alternative at $85 for 100 milliliters. At $85, it should outperform the Aldi clone at $7 and the Zara alternative at $30 in any honest head-to-head comparison. Independent testing consistently places it behind both in aromatic accuracy to the Sauvage profile and behind Club de Nuit Intense Man in longevity. At $85, it occupies a price point that neither justifies itself as a clone alternative nor as an original composition. Avoid. Number 1. Any clone marketed with phrases like "smells like," without ingredient disclosure. The most reliable negative signal in the clone fragrance category is a product page that markets the fragrance by its similarity to an original without disclosing any ingredient information, concentration level, or aromatic compound composition. Legitimate fragrance producers at any price tier publish their notes. The absence of that information is not modesty. It is concealment of a formula that cannot withstand comparison to what it claims to replicate. 10 clones that deliver documented performance, 5 that deliver documented disappointment. The fragrance industry's markup structure means that the gap between a $400 original and a $35 clone is almost never a gap in aromatic quality, and almost always a gap in marketing infrastructure, retail environment, and brand positioning. The compound that makes Creed Aventus distinctive is birch tar and ambroxan. Those compounds are available to every fragrance producer at every price tier. What separates the $435 bottle from the $40 bottle is not the chemistry. It is everything that was built around the chemistry. Buy the sample before you buy the bottle. Wear the clone for a full day before deciding it replaces the original. Your skin chemistry is the variable that no review, no comparison video, and no fragrance community consensus can account for. The only test that matters is the one you run yourself. Everything on this list is a starting point for that test. Your own skin is where the verdict lives.